Can you hear my voice? Can you hear my voice? Don't answer. Just nod. Can you hear my voice? Good. Good. Now just concentrate on the light. Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Your right hand. Raise your right hand. Very good. Lower your right hand. Do you know who is speaking? Do you know who is speaking to you? What is my name? Do you know who I am?
Doctor?
Yes, doctor. But do I have a name? What is my name?
Doctor.
Dr. Hoffman. Dr. Hoffman.
Dr. Hoffman.
Good. And do you know your name? Do you have a name? What is your name? Don't be frightened. Just tell me, what is your name? I'm sorry to be so abrupt, but I can't say I'm happy to see you or Mr. Evans and Mr. Haskell.
I didn't think you would be, Doctor, but I still think that Sam Evans' feelings should be taken into consideration.
I am not interested in Mr. Evans. My only concern is with Miss Evans.
I know that's how you feel. But I appeal to you, Doctor, to let Sam Evans see his daughter if it's at all possible.
Would you ask Mr. Evans and Mr. Haskell to come in, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Evans. This is an unexpected pleasure. And you're Mr. Haskell.
Yes, that's right. I want to see my daughter.
It's a little unorthodox not to notify me in advance. However, my methods are sometimes unorthodox, too.
You mean we can see her?
I think it can be arranged. I must warn you, however, that it could prove quite painful, both to you and to your daughter.
Well, isn't that more or less to be expected?
Pain does not always come in the way we expect. I just want to be sure you are ready for what may happen.
And what do you think might happen?
I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't have to allow you to see your daughter so I could find out. Mr. Evans and Mr. Haskell are here to see Miss Evans. Would you see that they're taken up? Thank you. My nurse will show you where to go.
Can we both go up at once?
Why not?
Let's go, Joe. Coming, Dave?
No, you two will go on ahead. I want to talk to Dr. Hoffman.
All right. And, thanks, Doctor.
Reserve your thanks for afterwards, Mr. Evans. I have a feeling they're going to be a little more hesitant.
You really mean you don't know what's going to happen and you're going to let them go on up there and see her?
I know exactly what's going to happen.
What do you mean?
Oh, it'll be terrible. Her, for them.
Well, then why are you letting them go?
It's the only way to convince them not to meddle.
Oh, Doctor, they're not meddling. Surely you must understand how anxious they are to see her.
I am not interested in them, only in her. Forgive me if I seem to be without sympathy, but sympathy can sometimes be a hindrance or a deterrent. I'm looking for the truth. In this case, it is the truth alone that concerns me, nothing else.
I hope that Dr. Woodard told you Mrs. Stoddard won't be able to see you today. She's very busy.
Yes, but I've heard so much about Collinwood, I thought I had to come and see it anyway. I hope I'm not intruding.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, when Dr. Woodard told me that he had a friend who was interested in doing research in the old families of New England, I couldn't wait to meet you.
Oh, you have a similar interest?
Well, not really. Mine is limited to the Collins family.
Oh?
You see, I've become a bit of a nut on the subject.
Oh, well, then perhaps you're the one I should talk to.
Oh, no. I'm much too much of an amateur. You really should talk to Mrs. Stoddard. Or better still, you should talk to Barnabas Collins.
Barnabas? Oh, yes, Dr. Woodard told me. Mrs. Stoddard's cousin.
Yes, he's from England. And he knows everything there is to know about the family history, especially about the past.
Miss Winters, I'm back on time like I promised. See?
I see. David, I'd like you to meet Miss Hoffman.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Miss Hoffman is going to be doing some research on the Collins family history.
No kidding. You mean our ancestors and all that?
It's starting with way back when they first came to America, right up to the present.
Can I help? The study's filled with books. And so's the house. It's filled with all sorts of portraits.
David, if Miss Hoffman needs any help, I think she'll ask for it. But I think you should go up and see if you can do any better on that geography, considering the trouble you had this morning.
I think I'll have the same amount of trouble this afternoon.
Well, you better not. I gave you that extra playtime hoping it would help.
Oh, I know, but I didn't have much fun. That's probably why I'm home on time. I was sort of hoping I could see Sarah.
Maybe you will next time. Now, why don't you run upstairs, and I'll be up in a minute.
Sarah Collins?
Oh, no. She's just a little girl from somewhere in the neighborhood.
I wish I knew her last name. Then I could find her and invite her over.
You don't know her last name?
No. You know, sometimes I don't even think she knows it.
What do you mean?
She acts sort of funny. I think she's sort of dumb.
David, anyone who did what you did in geography this morning shouldn't call anyone else dumb. Now, upstairs.
If you see Sarah, will you find out her last name?
I will. It's sad, isn't it? He has almost no one to play with. At times, I think he even imagines these friends of his.
You think perhaps Sarah isn't real?
I don't know. I hope she is real for David's sake. Well, what were we talking about?
Oh, Barnabas Collins, Mrs. Stoddard's cousin.
Oh, yes. Well, now, he really is the one that you should talk to.
Oh, I'd like to very much.
You know, he used to be very shy. He almost never came over to the house at all. But now he seems to be much more willing to have people around him. Why, he even gave a party at the old house.
The old house?
That's where he lives. You see, it was the original Collins family mansion. And he's had it completely restored to the way it used to be.
I'd love to see it. And I'd love to meet Mr. Collins. May I phone him?
No, I don't think you can do that.
Oh?
You see, he is so insistent on having the house exactly the way it used to be that he won't even have a phone installed.
Isn't that rather eccentric?
I suppose it is. But frankly, I like it that way. Going there is like going into the past.
You sound as though you share his affection for days gone by.
I suppose maybe I do.
Now you sound as though that were something to apologize for.
Well, it's not good to get too caught up in the past.
I could take that as a criticism of me.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it that way at all. It's just that lately I've had a tendency to be too concerned with the past.
It seems Mr. Collins and his house is even more concerned.
Somehow it seems all right.
But not for you.
No, I don't think so. But there is one room in that house that I wouldn't mind living in forever.
Oh?
It's the room that belonged to Josette Collins.
Josette.
She was the wife of Jeremiah Collins, one of the founders of the Collins family fortune.
Oh, I'd like very much to see the room. And to meet Mr. Collins. Would it be convenient to go this afternoon?
Well, I'm not sure. You see, he doesn't exactly welcome strangers.
But if you came with me...
Well, seeing as you are so interested in the family history, maybe he might be a little more friendly.
Friendly? You make him sound forbidding.
Oh, no, he's not that at all. As a matter of fact, he's the gentlest, kindest man I know. It's just that he values his privacy. Well, we all try and respect that.
But when you explain that I share his interest in things past...
I have a feeling that you two are going to get along very well.
I hope so.
Oh, I thought I'd let you know the other day when you came with Miss Winters that visitors aren't welcome.
I'm not a visitor, and I'm not interested in being welcome. I came to see Mr. Collins.
You can't.
Why not?
He doesn't want to see you.
Then I prefer that he tell me himself.
He can't. He isn't here.
Then I'll wait.
He won't be back for a long time.
Just how long, precisely?
I don't know.
I'm in no hurry.
You can't stay here.
Mr. Collins has done a remarkable job with this house. He must have made a very thorough study of the period to know so many details.
Oh, please, Mr. Collins won't like it when he finds you here.
Miss Winters tells me that you did a good deal of the work. Did Mr. Collins refer to any drawings of the house?
No.
Then what were his references? They must have been very exact.
What do you want to know for?
I told you I'm interested in the history. This house is part of it.
Well, he had old pictures.
I thought you said he didn't.
He did.
There was no need to lie. If there was, I can't imagine what the reason could be. I only wanted to know where Mr. Collins could learn so much about the original condition of the house. It's almost as though he had seen it at the time. Trustworthy person. You don't have to wait with me. I won't walk off with anything.
I have strict orders from Mr. Collins that no strangers are allowed in here.
I'll explain to Mr. Collins that I'm responsible. Please, please try not to be so nervous.
I'm not nervous.
You look absolutely terrified. Is Mr. Collins really that difficult?
Oh, will you stop asking questions?
Well, if he is so difficult, why do you work for him?
Perhaps because he wants to. Or perhaps I'm not difficult at all.
I told her no visitors were allowed.
Not rudely, I hope. You must be Miss Hoffman.
Yes, how do you do?
That will be all, Willie, thank you.
Oh, I promised him I'd take full blame for being here. Visitors apparently make him very anxious.
You must forgive Willie. He's a very strange man. But I found him to be a loyal and valuable servant.
You know, of course, why I'm here.
According to Miss Winters, you're doing research on my family and would like access to my library.
Yes, and to any personal knowledge that you might have, if you don't mind.
Well, it isn't a matter of minding, Miss Hoffman. And I certainly feel that your project is extremely interesting.
Oh, then I can count on your cooperation.
I'm afraid not.
Oh? If you think it's interesting.
But my opinion in this case does not affect my decision. And my decision is no.
May I ask why?
If you like. But I don't feel particularly obliged to give you an answer.
I see.
But I do thank you for your interest in my family.
Now, you, of course, are from England.
Oh, I see you've been told my history.
Oh, very slightly. But I would like to know...
Please, Miss Hoffman, I'd prefer not encouraging you any further by answering even your slightest question. I don't mean to sound abrupt, but it would be senseless for me to start something that I have no intention of continuing.
I understand, but perhaps you'll change your mind.
I assure you I will not.
But a man with your interest in the past, sure.
Prefers to keep his interest to himself.
You didn't let me finish. I have done some research of my own. I might know something about your family that you might find extremely informative.
I doubt it.
How can you be so sure?
Well, I can't, but I can be disinterested.
About your family history? Oh, no one who lives in this house could be disinterested.
Well, perhaps then my disinterest is limited to what you might contribute.
Are you sure it would be so negligible?
Not necessarily. But the price I would have to pay is too high.
Be a fair exchange. Is that too high a price?
Oh, come now, Miss Hoffman. That's not possibly fair. Whatever you may know, I certainly know much more than you do.
Do you? Well, let me know if you change your mind. You might find it extremely interesting. Goodbye, Mr. Collins. I hope I'll see you again soon. Good evening, Mr. Collins.
Miss Hoffman. Well, I didn't expect to see you so soon again.
I wonder if I might speak to you for a moment.
Well, I don't want to sound rude, but I can't imagine what we have to discuss.
Well, I'm not here to get information from you. I want to show you something.
Well, what is it?
Well, it's a family album with some portraits of your ancestors I thought you might be interested in seeing.
Why?
Well, I actually had hoped that you would tell me something about them, something I didn't already know.
You're very persistent, Miss Hoffman. I have nothing to tell you.
Then I've made the trip in vain. But since I have made the trip, well, why don't you let me show them to you anyway?
Come in. But I can only give you a few minutes of my time.
That'll be fine.
I assume that's the book you're talking about.
Yes. Now, here is a portrait of the original Barnabas Collins, your namesake.
So I see.
I must say the resemblance is remarkable.
It's often commented on.
And this is his mother, Naomi. Isn't she lovely?
Yes.
And on the next page, you'll find a portrait of Joshua, the father of Barnabas.
I recognize him from other portraits.
And on the next page is Sarah Collins, the sister of Barnabas.
Oh?
She's on the next page. Why don't you turn the page? She's a lovely child, isn't she?
Yes.
Look at her eyes. They're very much like yours.
Do you think so?
And her features, you really do look very much alike.
exciting.
Barnabas, come in. You know Dr. Woodard.
Of course. No one's ill, I hope.
No, just a social call on my friend, Miss Hoffman.
Oh.
Well, good night, Julia, and hope I see you soon. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Dave, I will.
Bye. Mr. Collins, Vicky. Thanks, Vicky.
Well, I didn't know that you and Dr. Woodard were old friends.
Oh, yes, from undergraduate days. Then he went on to medical school, and I went into historical research.
Apparently.
Are you sure, Mr. Collins, that I can't change your mind about cooperating with me?
As a matter of fact, that's why I came.
Oh?
I'd like to have a word with you. It won't take long.
Oh, I'll get my notebook.
Oh, there's no need for that.
Oh, I'll be right back.
I hope I didn't mislead you. All I wanted to do was apologize for my behavior the other day.
Oh, I see.
It was rude and a little abrupt. I apologize.
You know, of course, what you could do to make up for it.
My apology isn't sufficient.
You could tell me what you know about your namesake and his sister, Sarah.
I told you. I know nothing.
What puzzles me is why nothing had such an effect on you.
Well, I have heard parts of the story, as everyone has, and it's always been deeply affecting.
Sarah was the only one he seems to have loved. And from the picture, one can understand why.
Please, I'd rather not discuss it. If you have accepted my apologies, and you're willing to forget the entire situation...
Even, I remember the picture. The picture exudes an innocence. She was a lovely child.
If you'll excuse me, I really must leave.
Of course, the person I really care most about is your namesake, the original Barnabas Collins.
A rather dull person from all accounts.
All accounts?
Well, from all the accounts that I've come across.
Oh, then perhaps I've uncovered some things that you're not familiar with.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I find Barnabas Collins, well, not you, of course, the original Barnabas Collins, the most fascinating of all the Collinses.
How can you? He went to England when he was very young and died there almost obscurely.
So the story goes.
You mean you've uncovered some new facts?
I told you when I first met you that I knew a great deal about a great many things.
May I ask what you've discovered?
Oh, if you remember at the time I offered you an exchange of information. I would tell you everything I knew if you would tell me everything you knew. You refused.
I can't believe that you really have found out anything startling.
Maybe I have, and maybe I haven't. Good evening, Barnabas Collins. I've been waiting for you for a long time. A very long time.
What do you mean you know what I am?
You are Barnabas Collins. The only Barnabas Collins, who died over 130 years ago.
That's an absurd statement.
Don't try to deny it. I've investigated you thoroughly, and I've seen you in your coffin.
Have you?
Yesterday, at dawn.
You realize that such knowledge puts you in great danger.
Well, of course, that's why I took the precaution of putting a dummy in the bed.
But you didn't take the precaution of getting as far away from here as possible.
Oh, because what I need is here.
What is it you want?
You.
I don't know what you mean, but it doesn't matter. Because I am going to kill you, Miss Hoffman.
Dr. Hoffman. Dr. Hoffman?
Dr. Hoffman?
Yes. Yes, I can help you.
Help me?
Yes, I tell you, you don't have to live this life.
You're merely trying to save yourself.
Oh, would I let myself be in this position if I didn't believe I had something of value for you and for me?
But there is no other way of life for me.
There is.
It isn't possible.
It wasn't possible 130 odd years ago, but it is possible now.
How can you be so certain?
Because I've spent my lifetime studying conditions such as yours.
How could you have done this? Have there been others like myself?
No. You're the only one I've encountered. That's why you're so important to me. That's why I need you.
Need me?
From the time I entered medical school, I've been fascinated by the relationship of life to death. I believe that one is a continuance of the other, and that someday they will merge and that life will not terminate. That day is close at hand now that I found you. What are you doing here?
I must speak to you right away. Is anyone here?
Upstairs, I think.
Come inside, then.
What is it?
You have betrayed me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maggie Evans has appeared.
Maggie Evans?
Yes, she's here in Collinsport. She's now with Dr. Woodard and all her friends. Somehow, she's gotten out of that place. That safe place that you'd hidden her in.
Has her memory come back?
Not all of it. Not yet. But it seems to be coming back.
Did she see you?
Yes.
What happened?
There was a glimmer of recognition. You told me that you represented security to me. I can see now that you represent nothing but lies. I cannot trust you.
I haven't lied to you. You can trust me to take care of Maggie Evans.
It's probably too late for that now. I may have to take care of Maggie Evans myself.
Oh, don't you dare. You'll ruin everything I've worked so hard for all these years. Please, please, don't do anything.
And you will go first. Whenever you are, Doctor.
I must say, I'm very pleased tonight.
How so?
Because I finally think you're beginning to trust me.
Well, why shouldn't I trust you, Doctor?
Well, for a long time you didn't. But tonight, for the first time, I think you finally have complete faith in me.
Why tonight?
Because you're not afraid of Maggie, or this rumor that her memory is returning. You know I have complete control of the situation, and I do.
Of course I know that, Doctor.
That's good. That's a relief, because for a moment I was afraid you might try to harm Maggie, which would be totally unnecessary. Totally.
I understand that completely.
It's over. Barnabas!
What does it mean? Miss Hoffman.
Carolyn, why are you here?
I was about to ask you the same question.
This is no time for questions. Just go now.
But this coffin, why is it here? What does it mean?
I can't tell you that now.
But it's here, just the way David described it. Why?
Just don't ask any questions. Just go now before it's too late.
It's already too late. What are you doing here, Carolyn?
I came to see Cousin Barnabas.
And now you see him.
But you can't be Barnabas.
But I am.
But what's happened to your face? You're so old.
It won't be old much longer. You may scream all you want, but no one will hear you. Now, don't be afraid of me, my dear. I'm not going to hurt you. I wouldn't do anything to hurt my own flesh and blood.